Beck, when Ron Paul had a chance to win, he came out and really killed the campaign and said, this guy's dangerous. His people talk about bombs. He twisted the thing about money bombs. He still badmouths him on radio. He's very two-faced, is what I don't like about Beck. And now they have put him as the leader of the resistance to Obama-controlled opposition. So in 3 to 4 years, when they put a Republican in, there won't be real revolution. And so Beck can steer everybody. He just really is a key person for the New World Order, because if we could have a real peaceful revolution of ideas, a real move to audit the Fed, to end the Fed, which Beck, by the way, isn't calling for, that I've seen. He supports the Federal Reserve and says they're great. And then badmouths them at the same time. I mean, can't people see Beck is there to co-opt and control things? Paul? We lost Paul's connection in England. That happens sometime. Let's get him back on, because I want to get Paul Watson's take. We couldn't even contact England on our studio lines in Texas today, so we used the Genesis lines in Minnesota. Maybe some phone things going on between the United States and the UK over in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, across the pond there. But that's why I'm trying to be friendly about this, and I have no illusions. I know Beck's an operative. I know he's not going to listen. But at least I'm going to be on record now pointing out he was for the banker bailout and the Patriot Act and demonized Ron Paul supporters and said use the U.S. Army on us. And yesterday I was watching him. We had Fox News on in the break room, and Glenn Beck was saying, our republic is falling. It's on its last legs. Save it. This is all of our terminology. And many people pointed out Beck has changed much of what he says to mimicking what we do here, which would be flattering if it wasn't so creepy. All I want is freedom and the republic saved. And I'm telling you, Glenn Beck is a Trojan horse. Glenn Beck is a Benedict Arnold. Paul Watson, do you agree with me about Glenn Beck and about having to stand up against him and point out that this guy is completely two-faced?
Well, Beck is there to sucker the grassroots conservative in and make them believe that they can fix everything by voting in a Republican in 2012. I mean, Beck is the equivalent of what people like Olbermann and all those MSNBC anchors were before Obama got in. You know, they put it out that we could get the change we deserved by voting in Obama. Everybody went out and did that, and look what we've got. We've got the exact same policies, and in fact an aggressive expansion of those policies, both with the wars and the financial bailout. So it's about making people veiling the fact that the only way to change the system is to reject the two-party monopoly, but Beck is hooked into that. And I mean, for years before he even was on television, we would talk about Beck and post articles on the website about how he was a virulent neocon. And he always has been. And now he poses as this libertarian when his every political stance is the exact opposite of what a true libertarian would embrace.
Well, Paul, I know him so well, I was able to successfully predict how he would debunk FEMA camps. When there's bills introduced to set them up, they're already set up. Houston Chronicle, New York Times, civilian inmate labor camp, we emailed it, we mailed it to him, and I knew what he was going to do. I mean, this guy is so evil. I mean, he's so obviously a fake and a two-face. I mean, again, Limbaugh wouldn't even support the banker bailout. He's far worse than Limbaugh.
Well, they're kind of lining him up, as you said, as the new Limbaugh, aren't they? But, I mean, there's already signs that he's falling from grace. I mean, apparently he's lost half of his advertisers in the past couple of months. So, I mean, maybe people are starting to wake up from him, but obviously some of that's come from the fake left-wing assault on him, which is just about crushing freedom of speech. So it's kind of a pincer movement that we're caught in. We have to defend him when he's under attack. by people who just hate him because he has different political opinions to them.
Well, again, he's meant to polarize. He's meant to make it a Republican, Democrat, Fox News, MSNBC bipolar system so that people really get invested in supporting Republicans, and then they're going to have the victory in 2010 and the victory in 2012, and then all the FEMA camps are built, the police state's built. The Republican that comes in will just expand it all, and then we'll be called communist Al-Qaeda again because we're not supporting the right-wing version of the New World Order instead of being called right-wing fascists by the controlled left. It's so elementary, and it just fools the public. And that's why the public's losing their standard of living. That's why foreign banks are raping you in a big way for tens of trillions of dollars in the last few months. And, Paul, I mean, the good news is, though, a larger and larger portion of people are getting that both parties are controlled, are understanding the bait and switch. And I don't think this is going to work much longer. I mean, they pulled a rabbit out of their hat with Obama, and the same people that run Obama, Wall Street, are the same ones that run Beck. Beck and Obama are really twins in this thespian, theatrical, Shakespearean event. And there's not many more rabbits they can pull out of a hat. Time is running out. People aren't sophisticated enough to know exactly what's happening, but they know they're being lied to.
Well, the fact is that trust in government and corporate media is at an all-time low. I mean, the figures are that 29% trust the mainstream media, which even that seems like a high number. But the fallout from that is the response is for authorities to claim that, you know, quote, conspiracy thinking has infected all areas of society, which produces things like the Psychology Today hit piece that we featured a couple of years ago. It's not conspiracy thinking. It's not some virus of mindless thinking that everything's a conspiracy that's infected society. It's just the fallout from the fact that government and media have lied to us so consistently and so brazenly for the past decade, you know, in our face, basically, that people are going to lose trust in everything. And that's why...
And that, by the way, is a problem. It's good to question, but the system has lied so much and been caught staging terror attacks and been caught engaged in every form of corruption, and CPS nationwide openly run, almost in every case, by pedophiles. I mean, they're openly admitting they're drugging our water and poisoning us in the White House Science Czar's own textbook. It's all so real that now the public doesn't trust anything, even if it is bona fide. The public's still lazy. They won't go check stuff out. So they just think everything's a lie. I mean, society, Paul, is degenerating and collapsing. I do want to tell the listeners right now, and that's part of the New World Order plan, this learned helplessness, where things get so bad that everybody just kind of gives up.
Well, yeah, and I mean, there's two ways that can fall. The way that it's going at the moment is that people have no trust in any authority whatsoever, so they're kind of just falling back on the celebrity mindlessness and the little obsessions that they have in their own personal lives, and they're just focusing on what they can personally control and then trying to ignore what's going on in the world. I mean, that's what's happening at the moment from what I can see. But, I mean, the other end of it is if people lose that much trust in any authority whatsoever, then you're just going to get anarchy in the end. And like you said, that may be what they want, to reinforce the command and control position once people have lost all trust. Because if things turn really bad and you have an economic collapse, then from anarchy they can seize control once again. But at the moment it seems that people are either really clued into this and really know what's going on, or they're just falling back on their own little personal obsessions and going that way. So there's a real chasm as far as that's concerned.
Well, you're absolutely right. Paul Watson will continue to track all the great reports at prisonplanet.com, reposted at Infowars.com. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Alex.
You bet.